This is Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination and Fortune Telling, the Magi Method. You can find the book worldwide on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback versions. You can find the full color card deck used here and the charms. I'm going to try to throw in some charms here on Etsy/Magi Method. You can join us on Facebook. This morning, we want to take a look at the death of Kurt Cobain and the relationship he had with his widow, Courtney Love. Courtney Love and Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain was found dead on April 8th, 1994. Above the garage of his house. He had a house, he had a separate garage, and above that garage there was a small, bedroom, a small room with a bed in it, blah blah, separated from the house. He died at age 27. He was found with a shotgun laying across him and a suspicious suicide. Oh, that is very hard to see for this camera. Anyway, this suicide note is kind of suspicious. The writing changes very dramatically at the end. There's very clear efforts to completely exonerate Courtney Love, which is strange. So anyway, there was a lot of strange things about this suicide. Kurt was planning to divorce Courtney. They had a child. He was worth $450 million. She would lose half of that in the divorce. The shotgun shell was found on the opposite side from where it should have been ejected. There's a lot of speculation that the shotgun was so ungainly that he was found with that it was, the angle of the bullet wound, etc. The suicide, this suicide note shows very distinct handwriting styles and makes an effort to exonerate Courtney. Kurt's credit cards were used in the days following his death. In his body was found, Kurt Cobain was found with 3 times the legal dose of heroin in his body after his death, and he simply would not have been able to commit suicide under these circumstances. So, I want to start out with a relationship spread. Jerk upstairs is playing loud music. Be silent. In Jesus' name. Anyway, hopefully you can't hear the loud music from the jerk upstairs. The wonder of living in an apartment. So, let's start out with a relationship spread. Let's just explore the relationship between Courtney and Kurt at the time of his death. Let's just see what we get here, and see if because there's suggestions that she may have murdered him. Wow. Some strange cards on her side. Wow. Interesting. Okay. So, let's see what we get here. Okay, so, all right, so here on Courtney's side, we have scourge, scapegoat, and ruler. So she's trying to control everything. She's in charge of this relationship. She feels cast out of it, and there's a lot of conflict. She was trying to, oh, and this adds 24, which is 6 spades. So the relationship, 6 spades is incubus, succubus. So the relationship went really bad on her side, and she's just trying to control it. She was in control of everything. She felt cast out. They were about to divorce. Kurt made no secret that they were about to divorce, and there was a lot of conflict in the relationship. Interesting. And the relationship had really soured between them. On Kurt Cobain's side, we have water into wine, cup overflowing, and 4-leaf clover. 4-leaf clover, he's just taking it one day at a time, trying to make the best of it. 10 hearts is completion. He feels a lot of joy. He feels really good. This can also be 8 hearts and 10 hearts. Water into wine and cup overflowing can also be drunkenness and drugging cards. So after Kurt's death, Courtney was everywhere on the media telling everyone that Kurt had been threatening suicide and that he was suicidal and that he didn't want to live anymore. And so these cards, this can be drinking, water into wine, drinking a lot of wine, cup overflowing, getting high. These can all be getting high cards. Or this can also indicate that he was just very happy, that he had a lot of joy and he felt like he was very successful and life was going very well. Things were just clicking along. So this 1822, which is 6 diamonds, hand in hand. And so the outcome here, we have cornerstone and Magi, very solid foundation. The Magi manifests their will. This is 13 plus 4, 17, which is 5 hearts. So 5 hearts is reacting to circumstances. So the outcome is very positive. So Kurt is actually feeling very positive about life, and Courtney is feeling very negative about life. Let's see let's just ask these charms is Kurt feeling, is he feeling druggy or positive? Ooh, okay. So, skull, can you see that? Yeah, so I got skull and music. So there's a skull. So this skull would indicate to me that he was heavily using drugs, okay, because that leads to death. Music, he's a very famous musician. He's the front man for the grunge group Nirvana. Plus this measure is about, he's using a lot of drugs in his daily life. So he really was using a lot of drugs. Let's ask, was Kurt feeling, he was using a lot of drugs. He had a serious drug problem. She was very negative at this point. Was he suicidal? Let's ask that. Was Kurt suicidal? Because that kind of ridiculous behavior that's very reckless, very destructive behavior that leads to death. Okay, that's death. So was he in fact suicidal? Was Kurt Cobain in fact suicidal? Okay, we have, can you see that? We have sun, we have veil, which is hidden, and we have hand in hand. And this added to hand in hand on his side. So, sun could be yes, hand in hand could be many people. This is 14, which is 4 diamonds. 4 diamonds. So, was he suicidal? Sun is very open and positive and happy, hand in hand. I think there was a real dark side to Kurt, but I don't think he was suicidal. This is not saying suicidal. No, he's feeling okay. And so with the charms, we got 3 cards. We got 3. We have the starfish, which is a direction. We have the spider, which is a trap and addiction. And we have Tinkerbell, which is very light and fun and enjoyment. So he's very much, Kurt is very much, he's not suicidal. He's very much a recreational user, and Tinkerbell especially. He just takes drugs because he likes to take drugs. Like some people like to drink, he takes drugs. He's like a drinker. Okay, he's gotten into the habit. He's very much into the habit of drinking and taking drugs. Okay, so far we have Courtney is extremely negative about the relationship, and she wants out. There's a lot of conflict, and she's going to take control of it. We don't know if she murdered him yet. There is a man, Eldon Houck, who came out after the death of Kurt Cobain, and told the media on camera that Courtney Love had approached him to murder Kurt Cobain. Okay, and she offered him $50,000 to murder him. Okay, and she said, make it look like an accident. Okay, so here's this elaborate thing. And 2 days after Eldon Houck appeared on camera telling that Courtney Love had approached him and offered him $50,000 to murder Kurt Cobain, he was found dead on the railroad tracks from an apparent suicide. Apparent suicide plus Eldon Houck, apparent suicide. So I want to know, here's a question, was Kurt Cobain murdered? Because a lot of people think that Kurt Cobain was murdered. Okay, and was Kurt Cobain murdered? That's a good question. Okay, player. What do we have here? Okay. Was he murdered? All right, you can see all that. Okay, so we have player, we have mustard seed and Star of Bethlehem, and we have Jacob's ladder. So player was Kurt Cobain murdered? Player is a deceiver. Okay, they're an actor. Actors always show up as players. Okay, so make it look like a suicide, deception, mustard seed. Mustard seed can be like drugs and a pill. Kurt Cobain was found with a triple lethal dose of heroin in his system, which would actually make it impossible for him to commit to kill himself. Okay, the drugs would have killed him. So how was it even possible that he could have pulled the trigger of this shotgun, which he just got a few days before to protect himself because he felt in danger, and then the shotgun shell is on the wrong side of the room from. How did that happen? And there's no fingerprints on the shotgun shell. There's no fingerprints on the pen for the suicide note. There's no fingerprints on the suicide note itself. What is he, a magic man? I mean, how did that all happen? Okay, so we have player, mustard seed, Star of Bethlehem. Star of Bethlehem is stars and can be a lot of anything. Okay, so drugs into your system and they just go everywhere. Like, they just go everywhere. Seed is drugs. Player, deception, drugs, Jacob's ladder, step-by-step process. Okay, 11 plus 8, 19, 5. 5 clubs. 19 is 5 clubs. So, was he murdered? It looks like this was very carefully planned, step by step. There's a lot of deception involved. They drugged him. So I also, this is was he murdered? The sun is, yes. The anchor is, this anchor has, this is a nautical anchor. It's anchored, plus it has a wheel on it. So this is direction and opportunity, and the pentacle is very, very earth-based. Okay, the pentacle represents all things earth. So opportunity, success, earth-based. Interestingly, this is showing both. This is showing both drugs and a deceiver and step-by-step, careful planning, center, intention, careful planning. A deceiver very carefully planned this. There's drugs, and they began a process that they followed through with, and they waited for the opportunity in the situation to finish the job. It's sort of a combination of things, interestingly. It's a definite combination of things. Interesting. So far, Courtney has a very bad relationship. He's regularly drinking and drugging, but he seems very happy. It seems like a combination. It's not like a straight murder. Okay, so let's summarize here. Okay, so I wanted to explore the murder of Kurt Cobain. He died at age 27 in 1994. A lot of people, the death of Kurt Cobain, a lot of people think it was a murder, including Courtney Love's stepfather, the man who raised her. He publicly stated that he believes that Kurt Cobain was murdered by someone. He didn't finger his daughter. He didn't say she did it, but he believes that the death is so suspicious that Kurt Cobain was murdered. Courtney Love also hired a detective, okay, named Tom Grant, a private investigator, a former police detective. And he examined this, and he concluded that Kurt Cobain was, in fact, murdered. Okay, the death is very suspicious. So I wanted to just explore the relationship of what was going on. In the relationship spread, Courtney was incredibly unhappy. Kurt was kind of oblivious, as men often are. Men are looking into the distance, women are looking at the man. Okay, and so they're much more aware of what's going on in the situation, and relationally much more aware. That's their thing. That's how we're made. So Kurt was a regular drug user. Okay, that's just how it was for him. He's just a regular drug user. To relax, he would take some drugs. Okay, so Courtney was very unhappy in the relationship. Kurt was planning to divorce her. He had $450 million value, and she was going to lose that. And he was a much bigger celebrity than her. Okay, so without him, I don't know if her star would shine so brightly. And probably all of this was going on in her head. So she's very heavily incentivized to murder him. And so I asked, was he murdered? Okay, and there is a deceiver. There's a lot of lies going on here. There is planning and lies. Events were put in motion and carried out, and there was success in the murder, but it's a combination of things. It's a combination of of Kurt Cobain's heavy drug use and taking the opportunity to finish the job. So I kind of conclude that he sort of was murdered, but the situation was manipulated very, very astutely, very craftily. It's just a combination of things. It wasn't like it's not a straight murder, okay? And she got away with it, which is maybe why she got away with it if she did murder him. So, Kurt Cobain is at least partly responsible for his own death because of his extensive drug use, which is an interesting conclusion because I didn't really expect this. I expected more of a straight murder, okay, and that's not what I find. I find a combination of things and a lot of people involved and very crafty workings. So that's how I see it. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination and Fortune Telling, The Magi Method. You can find the book and the charms. You can find the book worldwide on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback versions. You can find the charms on Etsy, Magi Method and the card deck. You can join us on Facebook.